Now, very rarely will I open a video with this, but sincerely, viewer discretion is advised on this one. I'm not going to go super into details on like the graphic nature of this, but I'm going to talk more about the, human element and the social media element, because that's more in my wheelhouse. You might be familiar with the main story here. A man in British Columbia, Canada, was going into a Starbucks where his wife was ordering drinks, and he was there with his very young daughter, and there was a person in the entrance to the Starbucks vaping. And the guy said, "Can you stop vaping?" They had an altercation. The details are a little bit hazy. And then the guy who was vaping stabbed the dad, and the dad was left on the ground, not in a very good way, with his daughter right there and his wife inside the store. Now, unfortunately, the guy was then rushed to hospital, at which point he died. He succumbed to his injuries. Absolutely terrible. And I will just say on that point, I've had friends that have gotten into altercations over nothing, that have been glassed, that have been stabbed. I've had friends that have been on the other side of an altercation where they thought they were in the right, and they've punched somebody, and then that person has fallen over, hit their head, and then died, and they've been sent to prison for this. And it instills in me this concept of, unless somebody is immediately threatening your life or the life of somebody you're trying to protect, you just cannot risk ever confronting anybody about anything, anywhere at this stage, because you have no idea if the person that you're talking to is a fucking psychopath. And of course, that's not me saying that the dad's in any kind of wrong for this, because of course not. I'm not blaming him. That would be insane, which is what we're about to get to in a second with this guy on screen. That's me saying that as a warning for anybody, just, you don't know who the other person is, and there's a lot of really fucking bad, just crazy people out there, and you've got to really be careful. So where the social media element comes in is this fucking dude who was posting TikToks. Now, he was there when this was happening, and instead of calling the police, instead of doing anything, he ran over with his phone, recording a TikTok video and doing a selfie angle with the dad in the background, literally laying on the ground after having been stabbed. And you can literally hear in the video, I'm not going to play it for you because it's fucking unreal. It's very upsetting. You can hear the little girl and the woman screaming as this man lays there, while this absolute fucking dreg of society is laughing with a smile on his face, saying, "This man's just died, this man's dead." And then it gets considerably worse than this, because obviously he recorded the video, and then he basically started running around to people, airdropping them the video, asking them if they wanted the video, if they wanted to see it. And then he posted a video about it, talking about the situation, in which he explains why he was smiling, and it's because it made him uncomfortable and stuff. But obviously the normal reaction to anybody ever witnessing somebody literally being stabbed, if you're a normal individual, is not to run over with your smartphone and start recording in a selfie style, as you can hear his wife and child screaming, with a smile on your face saying, "This man's just been killed." That is just so incredibly fucking pathetically sad. That is the actions of somebody who is deeply, deeply unwell. And then, of course, he goes on later within this to explain that basically human life, he doesn't really care about it all too much.
I've seen, I'll just say human life, to me, the way I look at it, if I don't know you, is meaningless. It's meaningless. I'm just keeping it straight up, but yeah, he's dead. What can we do now?
So he says it's meaningless if he doesn't know you. But obviously most people still, if they had that view, would not run up to somebody and do this. And then he basically goes through and explains and justifies in this video. And it gets worse from here, guys. It gets considerably worse.
Yo, bro, I'm not even listening to this media. They don't even think logically. This whole stabbing was all the white guy's fault. Paul, he deserved to be stabbed.
So he's saying that the guy deserved to be stabbed, and the reason that he deserves to be stabbed, apparently, is that he walked up to somebody in an area where somebody had been stabbed before and asked somebody to stop vaping. So that's apparently his fault.
It's a Sunday, and I'm on a street where I just heard 1 month ago there was somebody who got stabbed by machetes and all this stuff, and I'm just standing there hitting my vape, and you're like, "Oh, don't hit your vape. Oh, what are you gonna do? I'm gonna beat the shit out of you." And then you just come walking up to me super randomly on this street where all this fucked up shit happens. Man, if I'm not on probation or anything like that, you might get stabbed. That's just
So this is him saying, if I'm not on probation and you come up to me and tell me to stop vaping, I might stab you. As if that's like a thought that runs through fucking anybody's head ever, unless you're a literal socio or psychopathic individual.
Just how it is, especially a brown boy. The only time I have ever heard of somebody getting stabbed in the Lower Mainland of people that I know, it was always a brown boy. It was always a brown boy. Come on. And like, it's all his fault, and now y'all are coming at me.
It's all his fault.
Because y'all are coming at me because I took a video. Well, guess what? I got that shit right in 4K. I did not post that video. What happened was...
Now, as you can see here, what's just popped up on screen is the person who's recorded this and posted it. It says he was running around smiling and bragging about it, trying to show it to everyone. He pestered me while I was there several times. He kept following me around until I told him to fuck off.
I airdropped it to people because everybody's coming up to me, oh, can I see the video? Can I see the video? After the murder happened, right? And then fucking boom, I just airdrop it to everybody. And then they do their thing, right? But it's how it is. Don't just walk up to some fucking random brown boy trying to fight him and don't expect to get stabbed. Like, it's Canada. We're not in fucking heaven right now. We're not in the fucking, you know, like it's Canada, bro. It gets cold.
Like, this dude can hardly string a fucking sentence together. At the best of times, it seems like he can hardly even fucking speak. Obviously not somebody you should be getting any kind of life advice from, but the fact that anybody could justify, like, the senseless actions of somebody, you know, taking another man's life over something so fucking mundane is just dumbfounding. Like, I don't even know what to say.
Out here.
And then he returns to the scene for another video. Now, bear in mind, again, the context, just so this is impressed upon you, how ridiculously just... what word do you even use? Psychotic this is. He then returned to the same Starbucks where this event happened, where the person had asked somebody to not vape and then lost his life because the other person retaliated by stabbing him. He's returned to that and stood outside the entrance smoking with a tagline, "Free the real, keep the rest." Now, obviously, this is going to be a bold thing to say because people are going to say, you know, oh, he's committed no crimes or anything. This motherfucker needs something happening to him. Somebody needs to, like, do a visit on this guy and check whether he's mentally sound or not. Because I've seen some shit on social media about people trying to, like, get famous off of some weird shit, like performing petty crimes, like pranksters that go around and, like, take somebody's hat off and then try to start fighting them and just, like, pushing people and being generally just pieces of shit in society. But I've never seen anything like this. I'm sure it's happened. I've probably missed it because we are just in the era where people like this exist. But somebody really needs to figure out what the fuck is wrong with this guy. Like, he even makes sure to turn around and show the fucking tree behind with a picture of the guy who lost his life with the flowers attached to it while he's still smoking, which is the first video he posted was basically like, oh yeah, you know, I'm defending myself. I just smiled because that's what I do when I'm uncomfortable, and I was so in shock. And then he returns later and does this. Like, this is one of the maddest things I've ever fucking seen. I really don't know what else to say. So yeah, social media was a mistake in many ways. Obviously, it didn't make people like this exist. They still would have existed, but maybe somewhere along the line, something else would have happened. They would have got into something else, you know, got a hobby or something, instead of being a fucking clout goblin trying to, like, get famous off of somebody dying and somebody witnessing their partner, their father, losing their life. So I'm going to try within this to, like, blur out his name completely. And I suggest nobody search for this fucking person. Don't give them any clicks. Don't do anything like that. But yeah, I don't know, man. Society's really on a fucking downtrend. Yeah, see you later.